What do we need to remember when we are being unfairly attacked? That's what we're going to talk about today in Psalm 35. Welcome to From the Overflow. I'm Stacey Edwards, and we are continuing our series on overflowing encouragement from the Psalms. I know I missed yesterday, so I apologize, but life is a little crazy for me. I have 5 daughters, and one is getting married in June, one is going to college in July, and then just so many things with the others. So I'm struggling to stay afloat here. I'm sure somebody can relate. But it is Wednesday. I'm halfway through the week, pretty much over halfway through my day. I have my little snack to get me through the remaining few hours of Wednesday. These are the best chocolate chip muffins you will ever have. They're actually homemade. I made them for breakfast this morning for my girls. The website is The Little Sweet Baker, and they're called bakery style chocolate chip muffins. I've made them for years. You can't go wrong. You need to make them. But we're going to look at Psalm 35. We're not going to read the whole thing because it's a little bit lengthy, but it's a really important psalm. It's meant a lot to me over the years because I think we've all had times where we feel unfairly attacked, and especially when it's an intimate attack, somebody that we had trusted or thought would never, right? So listen to what David said about the attackers that he's dealing with. So in verse 7, this is Psalm 35, verse 7, he says, "For without cause they hid their net for me. Without cause they dug a pit for me." So this is an unjustified, unwarranted, unfair attack that he's experiencing. And to make it worse, it's a very intimate betrayal. Look at verse 12. David said, "They repay me evil for good. My soul is bereft. But when they were sick, I wore sackcloth. I afflicted myself with fasting. I prayed with head bowed to my chest. I went about as though I grieved for a friend or a brother, as one who laments his own mother. I bowed down in mourning. But at my stumbling, they rejoiced and gathered. They gathered together against me. Wretches whom I did not know tore at me without ceasing. Like profane mockers at a feast, they gnash me with their teeth." So these are people who, when they were sick, when they were suffering, David said, I went about and mourned for them as if I was mourning my own mother. But when I experience suffering, they rejoice. And it's that terrible disappointment that takes place when you realize a relationship was one-sided, when someone meant more to you than you meant to them. And it's a really sad place to be in, to think that that person, as David describes, would rejoice at his suffering, would mock his misery, would take delight in his pain. So what do you do with that? Like, what do you do with that kind of betrayal and that kind of attack? And it really, there's two things. There's two things to remember. And the first thing we see in verses 1 through 3. We have to remember that the Lord fights for us. The Lord will fight on our behalf. In verse 1, he says, "Contend, O Lord, with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me." So the Lord will fight on behalf of his people. We need to remember that. And we get more detail in verses 2 and 3. And what we see in verse 2 is that he is our defense, in that it says, "Take up shield and buckler and rise for my help. Defend me. You are my shield." We've talked about this in several Psalms. So he defends us as a shield. But then look in verse 3. "Draw the spear and javelin against my pursuers." So he's not just our defense, he is our offense. He's not just defending us, he is actively fighting for us. So that is key to remember, that we don't have a God who sits idly by and says, "Gosh, I hate that they're going through that." No, he fights for us. He defends us, and he actively attacks our enemies on our behalf. The Lord will fight for you. That's the first thing. The second thing I want us to see is verse 22. It says, "You have seen, O Lord, be not silent, O Lord, be not far from me. Awake and rouse yourself for my vindication, for my cause, my God and my Lord." The Lord sees the betrayal and mistreatment. That's key. Like so many times we think that somebody's getting away with something. I promise you, the Lord sees, and nobody gets away with anything. No evil done against you has gone unnoticed by your Lord. So if you feel unfairly attacked, if you are being just, you know, in pain from an intimate betrayal and you don't know how to handle it, the Lord knows, He sees it, and He will fight for you. And I want to give you two key verses to kind of hold on to. One, and I've actually written them down so I don't misquote them. One is Exodus 14:14, and that says, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." There are times when you're called to fight, but there are times when you're called to be still and let the Lord fight. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. And the second verse is Deuteronomy 3:22, and it says, "You shall not fear them, for it is the Lord your God who fights for you." So those two verses, Exodus 14:14 and Deuteronomy 3:22, along with this Psalm 35, are great passages and great resources for you if you are feeling unfairly attacked and wonder how to respond. Just know the Lord sees, and He knows, and He fights for His people. So I hope that brings you some encouragement in whatever battle you're currently facing. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We are working our way toward a giveaway at subscriber 250. So when we hit that 250 mark, we have a great giveaway. So be sure to like and subscribe.